Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do in this video is break down Eve Echoes as well as show you the first gameplay footage that happens in the game. That way you can kind of see some actual in-game footage in the tutorial and kind of understand what it looks like, as well as I can break down what the game is supposed to be and give you an idea if this might be the type of game for you. Keep in mind, this game is a sandbox game, so the variety is very, very large in terms of what you can do, and you do make your own enjoyment, but there is most definitely some linear paths they do in this game to try to put you down the path they think you might like the most. They even have a recommended system, etc., which we'll talk about all of that. So sit back, relax, enjoy the video. We're going to go ahead and start rolling the first gameplay footage as I talk about Eve. So this is the beginning of the game. It's going to announce, congratulations, the game is now open. Please enjoy, and you can get going. The first thing that's going to happen right when you start the game is it's going to want you to pick your race. Now, the race isn't too terribly important. It's going to determine a few things. It's going to determine kind of your starting ship that you're going to get. And it's also going to determine where you start at, right? So there's the Amar, there's the Galante, the Caldari, and the Mimotar. I'm sure I'm butchering these names here, but they all kind of have different specialties. Now, the Amar, as you can see here, have laser, drones, and armor. I'm sorry, you might hear my cat meowing in the background here. I got a little kitten I'm dealing with. Then there's the Galante, Caldari, and Mimbatar. Now, I am starting in Amar, so if you want to be playing with me, that's where I will be at. But you can play any of these here and get to any location in the game. You are not locked by race. There is a little bit of backstory to each one, but really I would pick it based upon the recommended weapons. If you want railguns, if you want missiles, if you want to do auto cannons, really that, and the aesthetic, because to be honest, the aesthetic I think is quite important. However, the honest fact is if you're a hardcore player, what's really more important is min-maxing the correct ships with the right setups, etc. And for that reason, if you want the absolute best weaponry, you probably want to go with missiles, and so you would want to pick a race accordingly. Now, once you pick your race, it's going to have you pick your visuals. You cannot customize the character. However, there is a few different choices. You're going to have like your standard religious guy for the Amar, then you have kind of your business people. And I actually kind of forget what the third one is. I think it's kind of like the politic people. I forget. I think it's like trader, and then there's politic and the religious people, basically. But the Amar are basically terrible people. They're slave owners, overly religious, heretics, like just the worst people on the planet, really. And but I love their golden aesthetic, okay, which is why I picked it. Plus, look at that guy. That kind of looks like me, right? There it is. Now, after you pick your character, it's going to want you to pick your name, okay? Now, the name, here's the thing. Your name is actually quite important. Okay, now the reason I'm talking about this before we even pull it up, because we need to discuss this. The name is going to be tied with you and everything you do, meaning people are going to recognize you by your name. Something that's quite important in this game is your reputation. Remember how I said scamming is legal? That doesn't mean you want to go around trying to scam people, because if you do that, I 100% guarantee you it's not going to work for very long. Somebody is going to get pissed off at you and is going to want you dead, and that's going to be your life from then on. So I would highly recommend not doing some stupid name like dump truck or something, because everyone's going to know you by that, right? What you want to do instead is you want to do your actual name that you're okay with people knowing, that isn't something offensive. Heck, I wouldn't even do like a sports team. See, someone already did Darth Micro. That's a bummer because people are trying to copy stuff. And also, I'm going to have my own corporation, which you can join. The name to be determined here. This video is just kind of going to be a general if you should play the game and what it's going to be like in the beginning. Okay, so your name. You pick your name, pal. You got your name. Congratulations, you're in the game. After that, it's going to start running some tutorial here. What I'm going to do from here on out is I'm going to cut and speed up the footage. So what you're going to see here is me basically going through the tutorial as well as activating my skills and kind of doing the very basic things you're going to want to do in the beginning of the game. What I want to do with the back half of this video is explain exactly what Eve Echoes is, as well as why you should be considering your time to be playing this game instead of what other games you could currently got going on, okay? If I stutter throughout this last 5 minutes, please excuse me, as I have a little kitten on my lap currently she's currently on top of my microphone. And no, I'm not bluffing. She is kind of all over the place here. This is the microphone. She keeps jumping on it. All right, so here we are. Now we're picking our voice for our AI, which is actually pretty cool. Something to keep in mind is this game here is definitely not for somebody who needs 100% of the game to be done for you. This game is going to reward you for the more, I want to say time and effort, but also thoughtfulness you put into the game. The game has some grindy aspects in the terms of how long it takes to train your character, but you don't train the character in the traditional sense by going out and grinding. You don't have to slay a bunch of boars level 1 in the forest to become the strongest person. Instead, what you do is you just go ahead and train what you want. And over time, your character is going to be better. And I do mean over time. I don't mean over time in the game. When you log out, you still are training, in fact, meaning if you want to be training towards frigate, destroyer, mining, whatever it may be that is really your thing, you can make progress whether or not you're at work, whether you're, it doesn't matter. I mean, I could go off a list here to waste some time, to be honest, but it doesn't really matter. The fact is, whether you're in the game or not, your character is continually getting better. Now, that is where the $15 a month, $10 a month, or $5 a month will come into play, depending upon if you want to spend money or just be free to play, as you will train faster, meaning you can get to the different skills you want, aka different ships and different powers within those ships quicker than if you were just playing free to play. Also, free to play is in fact capped, meaning you can only get up to tech level 7 in the game before, and that's it, you're done. Meaning you're not going to be able to get the really big ships or any of the super industrial type of command ships or anything like that. Those are going to be locked out. Keep in mind, that's something else in this game. If you're a miner, they actually have paths built into the tutorials for you, which will teach you this stuff, showing you, hey, do you want to do mining? Do you want to do military? Do you want to do industry where you're just creating things? There's all kinds of, there's even business running, corporation running. There's different type of strategies. If you want to log into the game, literally never fly and only spend your time producing things, helping corporations run, managing people, things of that nature, that's built into the game too. The game is in fact a universe. It is what you make it. Keep that in mind, okay? That whatever you want to do, look, let me put it this way, all right? If you are currently bored in your life and for some reason you think coming up with a new one, identifying a new one would be fun. Just, role-playing one. Or if you're the type of person that's ever thought up books in your head or some, I used to play this game. I'm gonna put it this way. I used to play this game with my brother. We called it the adventure game. We didn't realize it at the time. We were 7, 8, 9, right? He's 3 years ahead of me. But what we did is we just ride around on a bike or one of those scooters that used to break ankles, right? And we'd ride around and we would essentially play Dungeons and Dragons. He would tell me his story and I would make my choice and I'd be like, this is what I want to do. And then he would continue the story. Now, I wasn't making actions very often, okay? But the story was there. Now, in this game, you will be making actions quite often because the story is what you created, but it is that same spirit of adventure in this game that really makes me like it. It brings me back to being a kid. It kind of brings me back to thinking almost anything is possible. Whoever you want to be is possible, you just have to go out and claim it. And remember how I was saying your name is quite important? That's the other thing. Your reputation is going to change based upon what you've accomplished and what you've done in the game. If you go out and you're just camping in a stealth bomber waiting for people to warp in their miners and you destroy them and their loot wasn't even worth the missiles you pick up just because you want to laugh at them, that is something you can do. And guess what? Tons of people do that. Just for the lulz is a thing in this game, okay? Heck, they even do it on a server-wide basis with massive fleets from corporations, right? But then the other corporations who don't like that will come into play and try defending. It's a whole thing. And you can see that is where in the game lies. The game lies with the people. Much like the planet on which you are born, it is completely and utterly useless without the people within it making it have meaning. For that reason, I highly recommend playing and reading the chat when you're playing, but avoiding the local scams trying to make friends. You're welcome to join my Discord if you want. We have over 200 people there within like the first couple hours. I haven't even checked this morning. There's probably 500 already. And we're all just friendly EVE players, just chatting about the game. It's a no scamming rule. We're all just trying to be friends and enjoy space together. I hope that this gave you a little bit of an insight as well as seeing the tutorial. Please do like and subscribe if you'd like to help me out. And I hope you guys all have an absolutely fantastic day.